Good evening, everyone. Severe Other Team 9 meteorologist Nathan Judd joining you for this edition of Nate at 8. And coming up, we're talking cold and snow. That's what we're going to deal with for a lot of the remainder of this week, starting off tomorrow. Now, not tomorrow morning, as precipitation will begin as rain, but as temperatures are dropping throughout the day tomorrow, we do get a transition to snow. So, of course, we'll map that out with future casts coming up on this edition of Nate at 8. In addition to that, again, we'll map out those temperatures turning cold as we go into this weekend, and then even more snow for Friday and Saturday. So we'll touch on that as well. So without further ado, let's jump into things, shall we? And starting off with the cold, those cold temperatures, which for today, not cold for this time of the year. I see around that 50-degree mark. This is not cold this time of the year. Keep in mind, normal high mid upper 30s. And the kicker is our low temperature tonight will likely be even a little bit above that normal high for this time of the year. So unseasonably warm today, and really you can call tonight, while chilly, unseasonably warm. Again, our low temperature is likely holding near 40, and that's above even our normal high for this time of the year. It's tomorrow that temperatures are going to start to drop off and the cold temperatures return. Our highs will likely occur in the morning hours tomorrow. And now, it could be late morning, closer to midday, but those temperatures initially dropping around 40 for tomorrow morning, and then only climbing mid to lower 40s going into midday tomorrow. Then from there, temperatures are going to drop off and will fall into the 20s by tomorrow evening, teens by Thursday morning, and as you can see, 20s Thursday afternoon. So temperatures much colder by the end of the day tomorrow, and that will carry over through the weekend. Highs near and below freezing. We'll set into another cold snap here as we extend throughout the weekend. And during a good stretch of this, we are going to be dealing with some precipitation. And yes, during a lot of this with those colder temperatures, it's in terms of snow. But at least here near term, we are talking our precipitation type is rain. I don't see a whole lot with us as we go overnight. There's still some dry air near the surface. So a lot of what we've been picking up on with radar here so far for this evening could struggle to reach the ground. I can see a lot of what radar is picking up actually not even reaching the ground as it's very light. But nonetheless, just a slight chance, maybe more of a sprinkle may occur as we go through the night, but not much precipitation. We'll see our skies turning cloudy, but it does look mainly dry as we go through the night. The timing of this rain breaking out is going to be more tomorrow morning, likely going into the morning commute. This is when rain will be breaking out across the area. And it's a chilly rain, temperatures in the 40s, but we are warm enough to keep our precipitation type as rain. So outside of just a nuisance to deal with chilly rain going into tomorrow morning's commute, nothing impactful for the morning commute. And it's going to be the same story all morning into midday. There's no threat for snow. It's a chilly rain, but temperatures are going to be warm enough to keep our precipitation type as rain for the first half of tomorrow. So no issues for tomorrow morning's commute, no issues around noon, but as early as 1 o'clock is the time to start to watch. Now, most of us, as you can see, is still going to end up being rain at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. But I do think it's at this time, especially into Tuscarawas, Carroll, and Columbiana County, that we can start to see, just as Futurecast is hinting at, we could start to see a mix with some snow as early as 1 o'clock into those areas in northwestern portion, especially of Tuscarawas, Carroll, and Columbiana County. Now we fast forward a couple more hours, we could start to see more mixing occurring. So we'll deal with more of that rain-snow mix, likely across locations north of I-70, and maybe for a sliver there of locations south of I-70 by 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Again, this is when we'll start to see more of that mixing occur between the two of rain and snow, but likely for a lot of us not quite have reached full snow by 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. That could be the case for some portions of Tuscarawas, Carroll, Columbiana County, but for a lot of us, we're seeing the mixing start to occur. As you can see, that's the case for a lot of areas north of I-70, but we haven't quite taken that. All snow hasn't quite taken hold, with the exception there, again, I think of portions of Tuscarawas, Carroll, Columbiana County. Now, by 3 o'clock, a lot of locations that are south of I-70 is still likely a chilly rain at 3 o'clock. Now we fast forward a little more, and by 5 o'clock, we've likely deal with all snow north of I-70. We're dealing with a lot of snow, but maybe still mixing with a little bit of rain for areas south of I-70, especially towards Tyler, Wetzel County. I could still see some rain in the mix here at 5 o'clock. Now, by just another hour or two later, 6, 7 o'clock, I don't foresee any rain sticking around at this point. At this point, we've changed over to all snow across the area. And temperatures at this point have fallen to, if not below freezing, likely by the time we get towards the late afternoon and evening. So from this point on, we still continue to see the snow fall, but we'll likely see it start to transition from the evening hours and the overnight hours of more of a snow shower activity. So notice how it was more widespread and likely started to taper back to more of just snow showers. And we'll deal with more of that shower activity continuing as we go through the night, as temperatures, as you can see, will fall from the 20s into the teens. It's turning very cold going into Thursday morning, with still some snow showers around. Snow showers then continue as we extend into Thursday morning. It's going to be likely more of a gradual process, but they'll taper off as we go throughout the day Thursday. But the bulk of our snow accumulations are going to be more in line with, once we see it to transition, right? The late afternoon, evening time frame. That's the start. Late afternoon for a lot of us, continuing up through the first half of tomorrow night, first half meaning up to about midnight. So that's where we'll likely see a lot of the snow accumulation potential. There is more into the first half of tomorrow night and towards the tail end of the day tomorrow, once we're seeing that snow take hold up until closer to the midnight, that really first half of the night. That's when we'll likely see a lot of the snow accumulations occur. But we can deal with some very minor additional accumulations, maybe something measurable, but it wouldn't be much of additional accumulation that likely occur more overnight and for Thursday morning. And then, even throughout the day, Thursday, likely not much in terms of additional accumulations will be occurring, but we'll have some snow showers around. It's cold, blustery. Wind gusts during the stretch of tomorrow as well as Thursday are upwards of 25 miles per hour. So when you factor that in with temperatures dropping, it'll feel like it's into the teens to single digits for tomorrow night into Thursday morning, and still close to the single digits. It'll be right around 10 degrees. So low teens, upper single digits could be that range even into Thursday afternoon. So it's just that cold, blustery conditions, bitterly cold when we're talking about wind chill values by the end of tomorrow, and then continuing as we go through Thursday. And the kicker is, while yes, we'll likely get a break in that snow for Thursday night, that by Friday, especially by Friday afternoon, you can see we'll have more snow likely moving back in the area, and some snow occasionally with us for Friday into Saturday, and some additional light accumulations and some potential, travel impacts are going to be back in the forecast for Friday as well as Saturday. So that's our next system to look at. But before we dive into impacts and accumulations Friday into Saturday, of course, right now all our focus is on what's coming our way for tomorrow. Now, this isn't a major, system in terms of accumulations. I do think there's potential here where we could sneak in 1 to 3 inches across the area, where we could sneak in a little more than 2 inches. I think it's a possibility. But that being said, I don't foresee us getting 4 or 5 plus inches of snow with this. It's some light accumulations where a lot of us can pick upwards of an inch or two. Again, maybe some locations closer to 3 inches of snow, but it's a quick burst, really. And the trouble with this as well is that as temperatures are dropping off, whenever you're dealing with, of course, the rain, crews can't pre-treat this. So we have to take that into consideration. There's no pre-treatment. Anything they lay down is going to get washed off. And whenever you're dealing with the rain falling, it's obviously the roads are going to be soaked, and then the temperatures are plummeting. So you get that freeze of lingering water on these roads that are not treated. And of course, crews are, when the transitioning is occurring and snow's taking hold, crews are getting out and trying to treat the roads as fast as they can, right? But of course, there's limitations, right? We know how many roads there are here in the Ohio Valley, right? Crews do their best, but it's hard, to get to all these roads at the same time. So you can get that layer of ice on these roads as the water freezes, and then even just that quick, because this would be a quick burst again from that late afternoon, early night, during that window there of several hours. It's more of that quick burst of snow we can get, that you can get that quick coating on top of that layer of ice on these roads, and they can become slick. So you want to be using caution. Now, in terms of the timing, again, like we discussed, it's the transition is occurring through the afternoon. And for a lot of us, by the afternoon commute, we can start to see that transition occurring. So I would watch, even for the afternoon commute, for at least some slick spots. There could be some roads becoming slick by the afternoon commute. Again, nothing around midday. Roads are just wet for the morning and midday. And even early afternoon, 1, 2 o'clock, I don't see much there. But we get further into the afternoon, again, late afternoon, evening, going into the afternoon commute, the evening commute. And that's the time frame where we'll have to watch. These roads can start to deteriorate, and they can rather quickly deteriorate and become slick rather quickly there from the late afternoon to evening. So use some caution if you have to be out later tomorrow. And you'll still, yes, likely want to use some caution for the afternoon commute, as we can see some snow start to take hold at that point, especially for a lot of locations north of I-70 by 4 or 5 o'clock, and even possibly some areas south of I-70. So that's right in that time frame where, yes, snow is going to start to take hold across a good portion of the area by 4 or 5 o'clock, and we're going to want to use some caution. Roads can start to turn slick at that point, and the worst then likely follows up by the evening, and that continues overnight. Roads are likely slick as we go overnight, and with temperatures teens to 20s, we got to take into consideration we're likely not getting a drastic improvement in road conditions tomorrow morning. I think we can muster a little sunshine for Thursday afternoon, which can certainly help. That really helps clear up those roads. And if we can see that come to fruition, we can see a big further improvement for Thursday afternoon. But I'd still watch for at least some slick spots lingering on our roads, side roads especially. Some of these could remain slick for through tomorrow morning, right into midday tomorrow. But certainly watch roads deteriorate likely rather quickly later afternoon, tomorrow evening, and yes, possibly even right around the afternoon commute for some of us. We'll have to watch for tomorrow afternoon. No issue for the morning, but for the drive home, it is something we will have to monitor, unfortunately. And then, yes, more snow Friday, Saturday, bringing the potential for more accumulations, likely again on the lighter side. So we're talking, likely on the order of just a couple few inches, nothing that's going to be 6, 7, 8 inches, right? This doesn't look like a major snow producer, but still some light accumulations are possible Friday and Saturday. Something we'll watch and further narrow down the timing of that and impacts here over the next couple of days going into the weekend. But of course, right now, really just focused on what's coming our way for tomorrow going into Thursday morning. So let's get to the comments. Again, I appreciate everyone tuning in as always to this edition of Nate at 8. And we've got a couple comments right off the bat. Jill and Patty are counting down to spring. Jill says 65 days. Jill is counting down, and Patty says patiently waiting for spring. I understand the cold and the snow coming our way, and counting down the days to spring. Renee, I thought it was a dusting to an inch. Did it increase to 2 inches? I think there's potential there, Renee, that yes, I think so. I think we could deal with a little bit more, but definitely a coating to an inch. But I do think there's potential. Some of us could get upwards of 2, maybe 3 inches, but at least a coating to an inch is where a lot of us end up. I think there could be some higher amounts to be had. But again, an inch or two, it's similar impacts, right? It's similar impacts. Roads are still just going to become slick going into tomorrow evening. Even that coating to an inch, same impacts anticipated, that roads are going to become slippery as we extend and again rather quickly, because it's more of that quick burst that we'll likely see occur as going into tomorrow night. So once we see this take hold late afternoon, evening, and then on into the early part of tomorrow night is when we see a lot of this accumulation. So it's that fact that we can get that layer of ice on these roads develop as temperatures are dropping off rather quickly, as they're still soaked, and then temperatures are dropping off quickly into tomorrow night. So you can get that layer of ice to develop. And on top of that, when you get that quick coating of snow on these roads, easily enough combination to become slick for tomorrow night. Even if it's just a coating, it's enough that roads will likely become slick into tomorrow night before crews have a chance to get out and then further treat these roads across the area. As again, unfortunately, they can't pre-treat with the rain. It's just going to wash it off the road. So the unfortunate side to that rain to snow event like we're going to have for tomorrow. Christine says, should we see a visit from Snowbird? And, it might be one of those cases where there's a lot of early dismissals. I don't think that there's enough to really cancel anything for tomorrow morning, but you may see a lot of schools maybe letting out early. So yeah, Snowbirds in that way tomorrow. We could get a lot of early dismissals. They may want to try to get out there more early afternoon, and maybe closer to noon. Get out before that snow takes hold for the latter part of the afternoon. So maybe a lot of early dismissals. I don't think there's really a need to close for the morning, but if maybe they're still deciding if they want to go for several hours in the morning and then release around noon or so, maybe they want to do that. I mean that's their call. If they're just said, nah, a few hours, we don't need to do that. maybe there will be some closures, but I think it's worth at least going and then doing more of the early dismissal. As again, there's no issue in the morning. It's a chilly rain, no issue in the morning before that snow takes hold in the afternoon. And some snow showers around again on Thursday. Not much in terms of additional accumulation Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Then some more light accumulations and likely more impacts when it comes to travel Friday into Saturday. Something again that we're going to get further details for here over the next, really leading into it. And even for Wednesday into Thursday, is over the next couple of days, we'll iron out the further details of Friday into Saturday. Austin, good evening. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. I did. Hopefully you did as well. I was surprised that Saturday and Monday were a bit windy. And yeah, we did have there towards the end of the day, Saturday, especially wind started to pick up into Saturday night. But it's a pretty, just in general, a breeze just been in place here as of recent for a lot of this past week. And it just continues. And wind gusts 20, 25 miles per hour at least here as we go into Wednesday, Thursday, likely a bit of a breeze into the weekend as well. So just pretty cold, blustery conditions look ahead for us. Temperatures near freezing, if not below freezing, once we get past tomorrow morning and then on as we go through the weekend. Even early next week, it's still cold. We have to wait a while, probably not until the latter part of next week before temperatures can get back above freezing, at least by several degrees, right? We may get just above it Friday, Saturday, but or getting back above it by at least several degrees there, likely later next week. Temperatures will climb further in the 30s at that point. Austin saying Magnolia High School in Wetzel County has been shut down because of a flu outbreak. Austin is reporting. Not looking forward to the lows to be in the teens. Yeah, cold, blustery conditions. And keep in mind, again, it feels even colder with those breezy winds. It'll feel like it's into the single digits for not only for the latter part of tomorrow night, but really a lot of Thursday as well. It'll still feel like it's close to the single digits. I think at most it's around 10 degrees as the warmest it's going to feel Thursday afternoon. Yeah, that's burr. Certainly burr. It's cold Thursday. Shock to the system of some of these milder days we've had as a recent, even compared to today, really is going to be more of a shock to the system, even with respect to this highest around 50 by the time Thursday rolls around. Laura says, love seeing the snow, just not the driving in it. So true, isn't it? So true. And of course, I love it as a kid when there's no driving in it at all. And of course, if we get the snowbird alerts, you're loving it as a kid. But I think, yeah, it starts to, still love the snow. I'm with you, Laura. I love it. But it just seems to, I don't know, lose its appeal when you got to start driving in it, doesn't it? Or you got to say, don't get snow days anymore as a as an adult. Um, yeah, you start to you be like, oh, now I got to go drive in it. I like the snow. How about it just clears up by the time we got to drive, right? How about it just magically goes away at that point? But then we get to enjoy watching it snow while we're still at home. If only. If only was the case. Following Friday and Saturday, I can see more snow showers early next week as it remains cold, and then likely more precipitation into next Friday. I know it's still early. It's pretty far out, 10 days ahead, but it does look like we could deal with some precipitation late then for that next week. But at that point, temperatures look warm enough we can start to see more rain in the mix. But past tomorrow morning, our precipitation type, as cold as it is going to be, is all snow. All snow. Once we see it take hold tomorrow afternoon, it is all snow as we go into the middle of next week. And then I think we can start to see more chilly rain in the mix there late next week. That next Friday, maybe into that following weekend. Renee says Jamie Baker won't like the snow. No, I don't think Jamie is going to like the snow. Not going to like that sight there on the tower cam tomorrow during the 5 and 6 when we start to see that snow flying. I don't think Jamie Baker's going to be liking it. I don't think so. And for a lot of the coming up here, we'll get to discuss snow. And yeah, I don't think Jamie's going to like discussing it, but we're going to talk a lot of snow here over the next few days as we go through this week. And be here to keep you updated. I'm going to hear not only the rest of the week, but Saturday as well. So I'll make sure to keep you updated even as we go into the beginning of the weekend, what to expect. And what we're tracking. So make sure to stay tuned for the latest. You can catch me, of course, for the latest on coming up on News 9 at 10 on Fox 9, News 9 tonight at 11, and tomorrow coming up News 9 live at 5, 6 o'clock as well. You can catch me coming up there, and of course, the next edition of Nate at 8. I'll keep you guys updated here as we go into the weekend. And even outside of these live streams, newscasts, you can always catch some updates. I'll be posting some here throughout the remainder of this evening on my Facebook as well as X. There you can see on the screen Nathan Shutt News 9 or InShut WTOB. You can head over there, give me a follow, and I'll be posting more updates throughout this evening. And of course, just periodically here as we go into the weekend. You can get more updates there even outside of these live streams and our newscast. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to this edition of Nate at 8. You can catch me again coming up News 9 at 10 on Fox 9, News 9 tonight at 11. And as always, the next edition of Nate at 8. Until then, have a great night. Try to stay warm with the chilly rain tomorrow. Try to stay dry as well. And then stay safe as we see that snow take hold tomorrow evening. Use some caution. Allow yourself plenty of time to get to your destination for the latter part of tomorrow. Once we see that snow take hold again, roads can get slick pretty quick going into tomorrow night. So make sure to be safe. Until then, have a great night. I'll see all of you on the next edition of Nate at 8.